Welcome everybody to the Hockenheimring Racing League. This is the GT3 Sprint Championship Season 15, Round 11. Almost done with the season. Just one more to go after this one. And it's going to be heated. In every class, we have the battle for the championship, and each class is still pretty strong. Starting out in the Pro class, Peter Flanner leads over Joshua Jablonski and Jacob Simmons. Mark Foley's in 4th. Christopher Daniels in 5th. Now, Trey Mistek's second in practice, but probably see him starting from the back again like we have many other times. So, that said, going over to Marshall Scary, who's leading the Pro-Ams, but he's not leading them right now. On the ranking sheet he is, but Chris Chitterling is second in the championship, but third on time right now. So that's going to be a big difference here. Marshall Scar's in 12th by that same margin. Dylan Thomas is ahead of him in 11th. Matthew Mercier is also in the mix in 9th at the moment. So I think also not John Chavecki, not Gage. Yeah, that's it. But he's got a lot of while Marshall's riding that top set for now, Chris Chitterling is chasing. So is Max Poe. He's 14th, just 2 positions behind Marshall Scary. And then you have Seth Hansen in 4th and Alex Zier in 5th. But Alex is not here. Neither is... No, Seth Hansen is here. He's in 16th. Brandon Burns leads the AM class at the moment. And that said, we do have a driver out there. He's not on the grid at the moment, but he finished... he has a time that put him into 15th position. That said, Jake Daly is just behind Zach Peterson, both in the AM class. And Jake Daly is 18th. Forrest Hollins in 19th. Tom Smith is in 20th. Richard Swederski is in 21st. Brandon Burns in 22nd. Eric Kunzman 23. We're talking an AM class sandwich here from P18 to P23. That's kind of a big deal. So while Brandon Burns fares ahead of Eric Kunzman, who's in second in the title for AM class champ, he's just got one split, one driver, or one position ahead of his rival, who's sitting second in the championship, Eric Kunzman. Then Forrest Holland, who's in 3rd, is ahead of both of them. He's in 19th. So, bodes well for Forrest Holland. Adam Tinkle's in 4th and Tyler Kearns in 5th. Now we go to our rookies. Marcello De Leo is out there in 1st. He's not at this race, I don't think. Maybe he is. Oh, it looks like he just registered. So I guess we're going to see what he can do. Roman Bykoff is in 2nd. Aiden Gortz is in 3rd. Maxwell Woodmansey is in 4th. And Sean Dickinson is in 5th. Now, of those drivers, only Maxwell Woodmansey is here. Possibly Marcello De Leo is also here if he puts in some laps. But we do have a driver that's out there, and he's in 13th. His name is Seba Corns. First time here. I don't even think I've seen an Audi in a while. But there we go. Seba Corns, welcome to the league. Ooh. Something just happened. Is that John Chavecki? Take a look. It wasn't that big of a deal. That said, we got 5 minutes, 30 seconds in practice, and we'll take it over to our team championship. Draft Punk Gold. Elliot Burton, Peter Flanner leading in 1st over Thunder Thighs Racing in 2nd. Papaya Rules is in 3rd. Draft Punk Silver in 4th. No Longer Radio Controls in 5th. Ski Team in 6th. Little Lugnuts in 7th. Cars Racing 8th. Pax Oceani Margarita Masters in 9. Caffeine Global Motorsports in 10. SimCity Racing in 11. Pax Oceani Rambunctious Necromancers in 12. Ganja Glizzy Racing in 13. Acer Race 14. SimCity Racing the 2nd in 15. Puck Air Racing in 16. Pax Oceani Rubber Shuckers in 17. Living Legends 18. Shift E Racing in 19. Aero Racing in 20. And Gnarl Racing Team in 21st. Now, that's unfortunate because they were they were attending a couple of these, and they were finally not the last team, but they have been put back down into the last place. The owner and another admin team. It's no commitment to the GT3 Sprint Championship here. That said, we're almost there. 4 minutes left to go. The point separation is not that different here for Jacob Simmons, Joshua Jablonski, Peter Flanner, all within the margin of who can actually get there. Actually, Mark Foley and Christopher Daniel are actually kind of also in this fight for the title after they do the drops and gross points. They all have a chance. So, while it is going to come down to the last couple, we did know who our first half winners were. It was Jacob Simmons, Marshall Scarry, and Brandon G. Burns, Marcello De Leo, also in that first half. Now it's going to be a little different. Is it going to go down? Drop weeks have not taken full effect just yet, so we won't be able to tell until that final race. This just is going to further cement Peter's domination. Maybe not. He's got the gross points. He's the highest at the moment with 3,000. But I guess it will be one of those we will see when it happens. Now everybody's in either the 137s, the 138s, or the 139s. We have 32 drivers have entered here for Hockenheim. And I guess I should say Hockenheimring, but it's going to be a special one. I think we the last time we were here, it was, gosh, I want to say it was the Broken Wing Le Mans series, and there was quite some controversy with the safety cars and some of those restarts. I mean, I'm thinking about it. Was it the LMP2 class just at the time? And it was LMP2s and GT3s? Might have been. It was a while ago. I don't even know. Maybe it was, I think it would have been first season, but we've had some incidents in this section of the track where Koonsman's flowing through. I think that was Sachs. Might be turn 12. Yeah, I think that was Sachs. Just one more corner, maybe. No, that wasn't Sachs. Maybe not. That is Sachs. Now we're at Sachs. My bad. That would have been Mercedes then. Turn 8. Can't tell. I haven't been really paying attention to some of this. You only see these tracks once every so often. You forget what section of the track they're in, except, here, the start straight finish when they're exiting the pit lane. But, woo. Edwin Gonzalez, a little spin. Well, he has some orange accents, and it looks like Trey Mistack's having a little bit of fun. And so I guess we're going to see the donuts. No. Joshua Jablonski is here. I didn't think he was... he must have just registered. You have 32 now. No, he was here. He just wasn't getting a good time on the board. That's unfortunate. And we are back. Jeff Hoffold is going to take us to a first hot lap experience here, and look at that behind. All those drivers looking like they're fighting for some jockeying for position. Someone goes off back there as well. It's that hairpin through Mercedes. Not a whole lot of opportunities for passing through this section, but it was done during the multi-class event. And here we are on board with Jeff. He's going to set us running. What can the pro driver accomplish? 137s is the goal. 138s is going to put you in the midfield, and 139s is going to put you right in the back in the late 20s and into the 30s for positions. I'd say most people were in the middle group though. The 138s, high and low, really going to shuffle you into the low teens or high 20s, or mid 20s I should say. Just through turn 6 there in the hairpin, and then the kink for 7. Through 8 he goes. I don't know. That seemed a little unsettling. I don't think that was the quickest one could take that there. All the curb, but I think it was completely valid still. And so far he is valid. No off tracks here. So 139.9. Or the 139.1, sorry, that was another driver. That was Jacob Simmons, who dropped out. Where is Peter Flanner? He is P6, and he's in this train. This isn't where I would want to be if I was in this position. There's Zach Peterson letting one driver by, but now he's got Joshua Spears. See, this is the kind of qualifying you definitely don't want to be involved in here, because you're too close to the car next to you, and that's going to slow you down. It's not going to slow down Zach Peterson, but he was already pretty quick. He was 13th in practice, but it might feel that way for the drivers behind him. Definitely Peter, who was leading. Kind of be just stuck in traffic like this is not ideal, is all I'm saying. He's got a Forrest Holland ahead of him, and really I don't think there's anything you could do here at this point, because where he's at is just like a kind of a almost a train of guys. But look at the difference in pace there just through that section. That really applied a different gap that formed there for Zach Peterson to Peter Flanner, which is optimal, because now he doesn't have someone in his rear view while he's trying to make a really solid lap. He's within a tenth or a 1 second margin here, as Marshall Scarry has just spun in the final corner. And how does that improvement work for Peter Flanner? He goes into 5th. Matt Mercier is in 4th. He's the Pro-Am leading that group at the moment. Nope, I spoke too soon. Max Poe said he's not going to be here tonight, and he shows up anyways. What was it last week? His mother's birthday. And yet he still showed up. Gage Hines goes into 8th position there. Jacob Simmons leading us off here with that 138.1. Jeff Koffold is in 2nd. And look at these two. They are right next to each other. That's how you get that margin as well. He is sitting in a decent draft behind the Ferrari. Nick Mazza is in 3rd. Well, isn't that interesting? You have the driver who's in the middle, or in front. Oh, now I'm not even sure. He swapped positions. This is interesting. Now it's P1, 2, and 3 technically on the grid at the moment, as Jacob's now leading Jeff. Maybe I want a draft is what I'm thinking. But there we go. Now, there's no way Jeff can get a quick lap out of that. He's got, yeah, with a 139, but 137.7. Wow. Now, we could get the low 137s. Now, Jacob's the only driver. What is going on? He just swapped positions with Jeff. Maybe okay. Max Poe retaking P4, but now he's got a battle on his hands. Dylan Thomas is in 5th. Colin Luckhurst went into 13th. Jake Daly in 14th. So there's your combo for the AM class. Your pros sitting 1, 2, 3. Your pro-ams 4th and 5th. John Javecki in the mix in 6th. Elliot Burton, another Pro-Am, in 7th. Matthew Mercier now in 8th. The rookie, Seba Corns, is in 9th. And yeah, Colin Luckhurst is going to be our quickest AM class driver at the moment. Brandon Burns in 14th. Just behind, who split Jake Daly, who's now in 15th. Where are some outliers? We got Joshua Jablonski, who is a quick driver, is in 22nd right now. Chris Chitterling hasn't set a time on the board. Marcello De Leo is also not set a time on the board. And Trey Mistak is going for the slowest possible qualifying lap anyone could do. Predicted to be a 142.6. That's an off track. I want to know what the strategy is to like mix up the Jake Daly's improved into 13th. Max Poe is now improved into 3rd. Is there a way to like cheat the power rankings by not qualifying well, but qualifying or finishing the race well? Joshua Jablonski now silences this commentator with a quick lap, a 138.2, and he's now in 9th position. Congrats, Joshua. That Kirby with a knife did scare me. Maybe we can get a little closer. There we go. That's the money shot. No, I probably shouldn't say it that way. Anyway, moving on. Peter Flanner. Now he leads us in 1st with a 137.7. Now it can still go drop. We could start to see the times getting even better here. I think everyone's just timing their qualifying to just run the full qualifying session with the fuel they have on board. And so as fuel's dropping, I think we're going to get better times towards the end. It's not over. 5 minutes left to go. And we'll probably see two more attempts here for Peter. Maybe a third if he's just timed it perfectly. Dylan Thomas, now improvement out of him. Went into his 5th, but now is in 6th as he's dropped down to Joshua Spears, has just popped himself into 4th. But nice improvement. Seth Hansen has just improved into 15th. Seba Corns is now in 17th. I think leading, Gage Hines now improves to 7th. Now leading the The AM class is Jake Daly. Max Poe is sitting third in the Pro-Ams. Peter Flanders, pro, in first. So Jake Daly showing what's up for the AM class. Not far behind him, though, is Zach Peterson, who's in 16th. Seba Corns now splits the two in 16th. And we already know our rookie. This is him who's leading the rookies. Other rookies that are out there on the board. Let's see. Maxwell Woodmansey is 27th. Andrew Frank is in 28th. Edwin Gonzalez is in 30. And Marcelo De Leo is in 31. But these are all points still gained. Marcelo keeps showing up and getting some decent results. Ultimately, snag him the rookie championship, which is 2 races left to go. He already could have promoted halfway through the season, but he chose to stick it out. That's kind of nice. He still be able to say he was a champ. Peter Flander now going even faster. 137.5. Max Poe. Is he really a Pro-Am? Look at that driver. 137.7. And now Matthew Mercier, also a Pro-Am, is in third, splitting the pros. We have a 2 Purple Pam Pro-Am sandwich with the pros in first and fourth. This is going to be an interesting race if that's how the qualifying ends like this. Because Jacob Simmons is going to want to make quick work to catch up to a rival for the championship. And yikes, he still runs that Venus helmet. That thing is terrifying. Look at it. It's menacing with the A guys and the Bean helmet. And one of the oddest cars ever that anyone could choose. I wouldn't wish this on my enemies. The Porsche is just an interesting choice by any feet. But if anyone could figure it out, it's a pro, like Jacob Simmons, sitting 4th right now. Is this an improvement out of him? He's got Jeff just ahead of him, who's sitting 8th at the moment. Nick Mazza now improves into 2nd, pushing the Pro-Ams down 2 spots. Jacob Simmons' last lap was invalid, so he's got 1 attempt to go. This will be the last one. Hopefully he can do something here. As Mark Foley has improved into 10th position, and he's going to go again. Matthew Mercier is out, and so is Nick Mazza. Peter Flanner is out there still. His last lap was a 139.1. Interesting. This will be his final attempt. We'll see. Edwin Gonzalez. Can he improve here? Across the line he goes. P29 for him. Maxwell Woodmansey across the line. He can still go again, by the way. We still have not done. Is he improved? He's P28, and I think he's going to stay P28. And then we have Jeff. Actually, he and Jacob might be able to go again. They're about to cross the line. 4, 3, 2, 1. They can go again. Jeff and Jacob. Is Peter Flanner puts in a lap. Is it going to be enough? There's Joshua Spears just behind Peter Flanner. Stays P1 at the moment. Joshua Spears, no change there. Mark Foley, no change there. And I think it was Zach Peterson also, no change. Aaliyah Burton in 15th, no improvement on that last lap. John Javecki improved his time and position to P12. And now we're just going to have Horst Holland Oh, no, we're not. That's an odd one. Marshall Scari improved his last lap time. Can he improve it again? Improved his position to P11. Edwin Gonzalez. Yeah, he didn't have a good one right there. Yeah, just unfortunate. That is the last driver. Well, there you have it, folks. That is qualifying. Peter Flanner P1, Nick Mazza P2, Max Pope P3, Matthew Mercier in P4, Jacob Simmons 5th, Joshua Spear 6th, Dylan Thomas 7th, Jeff Koffold 8th, Gage Hines 9th, Mark Foley 10, Marshall Scar 11, Joshua Jablonski 12, John Javecki 13, Seba Corns 14, Chris Chitterling 15, Elliot Burton 16, Jake Daly 17, Seth Hansen 18, Zach Peterson 19, Tom Smith 20, Eric Kuzma 21, Richard Swederski and 22, Colin Luckhurst 23, Brandon Burns 24, Greg Carroll 25, Forrest Holland 26, Andrew Frank 27, Maxwell Woodmansey in 28, Edwin Gonzalez 29, Marcella De Leo in 30, Steve McAllister 31, and Trey Misek 32. Now, that said, we're just waiting for the changeover. It's like a countdown of 5 seconds. Wow. Did they improve the crowd? I thought the crowd was 2D. That one's interesting. And thankfully, we are near the hairpin, I believe. Or I want to say it's that. Is that 7? I think that is. I think we're just before turn 7. I could be completely wrong. No? This is a straight on before 11? Well, it's one of those straights. As we wait for all drivers to join the grid. Notably, Peter Flanner is not there. Now he is. And now all drivers are out there on the grid. I'll get to know if I'm right. I think I am right. Or I'm not right. No, I'm not right. That was Saks. Damn. They're at the entry to turn 11. They get an ad break right at the start of the race. That's crazy. Who would do that? Oh. Oh, come on. I was right the first time. I never trust myself. That's what that means. We were at the right after the hairpin, so it just start you somewhere else. But all right, here we go. This race is about to start at an ad break for some of you. And Peter Flandre already gets away nicely as Max Poe sitting in third. Can he take a position away from Nick Mazza? No, he can't. And we are all going off into turn one. And a little bit of a split there. Jacob Simmons now in front of Matthew Mercier, retaking a spot. Or not, as these two go side by side. And it is going to go down to Jacob Simmons, who gets that. Ooh, there's a spin there for Dylan Thomas. Hopefully he didn't collect anyone there, and looks like he's all good. Joshua Jablonski and Gage Heinz batting a little bit, but it ended up going to Joshua, who's up 4 positions. Mark Foley having to hold on, as Marshall Scar is just behind him. Seth Hansen, down a spot from the start of this race, looking to retake it from Eric Koonsman, dives down the inside, and they're about to go side by side. Oof, a lot of people are taking that too wide. And Eric Koonsman holding his own. And there's Richard Sweatersea trying to make a move here on Seth Hansen. Oh, and there's a spin for somebody. That's probably going to be Elliot Burton. And he rejoins. Down 10 spots. Going to battle with Andrew Frank. That's unfortunate for him. Seba Corns also up 3 spots. Great result for the rookie so far. Talk about movers and shakers. Trey Mistak is already up 9 positions from the opening lap. I think one of those was gifted to him. But he's got Brandon Burns right there beside him. Max Poe trying to take P2 from Nick Mazza. He is fully alongside. This might be it. Through the hairpin, he goes ahead, and is he going to keep it ahead? Yes, he is. And through goes Poe for the moment. Jacob Simmons is joining Nick Mazza and Max Poe, and even Matthew Mercier is rejoining these drivers. Little wide for Max Poe. And further back, we have now a train forming, and Mark Foley's kind of at the end of it. Seba Corns is 9/10ths back, but if he can really reel that in, then we got even a bigger train of cars. And there's even Chris Chitterling, who's up 1 spot from qualified, trying to make some inroads. He's got Marshall Scarry battling for the championship, who's 2 positions ahead of him. Trey Mistak making a move on Colin Luckhurst and getting that done. Marcello De Leo also making a move there, and that's through, I believe, Sachs, turn 12. Only able to retake where the position where he started this race, though. He did qualify 30th. Now, who's going to make a move first? Is it going to be one of the drivers in the front of the field, or Trey Mistak over here to Jacob Simmons, who's the closest? Look at this line. This train is really, really getting close. And it doesn't even really break up throughout this entire section. Like, you could probably argue that Marshall Scarry is the only one kind of in no man's land. He's got a 1.2 difference to the Seba Corns, and then he's got a 1 second gap behind him with John Javecki, Chris Schitterling. But then Jake Daly, who's the an AM class driver, is up 2 spots. He's got Zach Peterson, an AM class driver, just behind him, and they are still all within a second. And a third AM class driver, Eric Koonsman, followed by Seth Hansen. This is very interesting to see this out of the AM class. They're getting quick. They're sticking together. Peter Flanner with the Peter Flanner with the fastest lap. And it's definitely showing. There's Trey Mistack. Still no spot gained here on Tom Smith. They are actually equal on that last lap, but he's going to try to take him here. And he does. It's an 11th gained. Now he's got 9/10 to Forrest Holland. Little bit of a drop off here. Max Poe and Nick Mazza, definitely a little bit of separation here. Craig Carroll. It's got Dylan Thomas. At least he's hunting at the moment, trying to attack. It's not quite there just yet. Now we go over. Peter Flanner leads right now with a 1.5 second gap to Max Poe. And then Max Poe has a 1 second gap to Nick Mazza. Then Nick has just a sea of drivers, one after the other. And look at that. You could just see how many are still within a second of each other. Seba Corns is in that as well. Peter Flanner leading the race for the pros. Max Poe, who's in second, is leading the Pro-Ams. And Jake Daly, who's in 15th at the moment. And look at that. Trey just passed Forrest Holland, who's at 5. And now Trey up 12. He's got to go chase down the driver that's 1.2 seconds ahead of him. Chris Chitterling getting awfully close here to John Javecki. Can he make a move? Jake Daly, who's just behind them, and he is potentially going to win the AM class. He's actually got to fight to keep this alive. Zach Peterson is 3/10 behind him. So we have an actual legitimate battle for a class champion at the moment in this race, as every other one is kind of pulled away. Nick Mazza, who's sitting third, is going to have to do one hell of an undercut or overcut to get 2.4 back on Peter Flanner and battle him for the lead of this race. He also has to get past Max Poe, who's just ahead of him, now 7/10, no longer a full second. Maybe he's backed off and is just running his own thing at the moment. Maxwell Woodmansee trying to make a move here on Colin Luckhurst, as well as Edwin Gonzalez is also making a move there on Tom Smith. And it doesn't go to either one just yet. Colin Luckhurst stays ahead. Tom Smith, for the moment, is ahead. But look at this. Are we going to go 3 wide? Dylan Thomas going to try. And he's sent all the way to the edge. And he dives. And he makes the corner and gets past Tom Smith and Edwin Gonzalez. But crucially, Edwin got past Tom Smith, which is what he was originally trying to do. So there you have it. An actual 2 overtakes in one section, but then Edwin Gonzalez trying to make a move, as well as Craig Carroll. The battle in the 20s right now is very much on. Craig goes a little wide there over curving. Is he ahead, though, of Tom Smith? No, he is not. And he gets really deep in the grass, and that's going to be unfortunate for Marcello De Leo. Is going to make quick work of that mistake and gets on by, and he has now gained a spot. Alan Luckhurst has now got Brandon Burns in his sights. Quick peek to the inside, but no, he follows in suit. And we'll go over to Seba Corns, who's got Mark Foley next to him. Mark Foley qualified 10th. No change in the order for him. But he is just right at the edge of this long line of drivers from P2 to P... I'd say 9. There is this a 1.2 second gap to these drivers. So you're part of the train when you get in the slipstream. 1.2 out, maybe. Jeff is... It looked like it said he was closer than he was on someone, but no change. Jeff's been up one position from where he qualified, and Josh Jablonski finding that additional one. Crucially, there is a gap that formed from 4th to 5th. That train is splitting up. And now it's kind of like the Valhalla racing drivers in that middle section of the train. They, I guess, get to control their pace with Matthew Mercier at the lead. They only have one car in the middle of their little battle there. Dylan Thomas is trying to shed some of his trying to recover, I should say. He's trying to recover some of his lost positions. He's at 19, so he did recover a couple of them. I think he was at 24, maybe 25. But Maxwell Woodmansey is going to be his next contender. Dives down to the inside line. They take it too wide, and it is not over just yet. No, he's got to slap back in. Really aggressive on entry. More so than Maxwell, at least. And just going to have to follow suit for another lap. So when I said he had to catch that 1.2 second gap to Richard Sweaterski, he did do that. Seth Hansen now made a mistake, I believe, and that's now 14 positions gained, and he's attacking now with Eric Koonsman, who's in 6/10 separation. But for how long would that continue? There's a 3/10 difference on the last lap they did. And I think we're going to see this drop even further. Dylan Thomas still on the attack, trying to make work of the rookie Maxwell Woodmansey, who's up 3 spots at the moment. I wasn't sure if it was contact. Definitely you have to go look back at lap 1, because there was possibly some nefariousness happening there. Look at this. Andrew Frank trying to make a move. Ferrari versus Ferrari. And they take it too wide. Unfortunate for Marcello is he's going to drop back into 30th where he qualified, and they're going to go Andrew Frank now only down 2 from where he qualified, and these two are going to battle quite possibly again and again, because they are matched on pace at the moment. unless someone makes a mistake, really diverts this scenario, but... Alright, that 6/10 gap is now 2/10 after one lap. Trey Mistack now has Eric Koonsman in his sights. What is this driver going to do? Is it going to be soon? McLaren doesn't really have a great gyro cam. Big covering perspective here, but moves to the right. He's going to take him in the hairpin. And c'est la vie. There is Trey Mistack up now 15 positions. He's in P17. Now he's got to chase down 1.7 seconds ahead. Zach Peterson and Jake Daly are battling for the AM class win. Not too often we get to see class battles, though. It's nice when you do see them. Like Peter Flanner got a 3.2 second gap to Nick Mazza, the pros. Max Poe, who's sitting in second. Matthew Mercier's in fifth. It's a big gap between these two, and something would have to go horribly wrong for Max Poe. Here on lap 11, we might start to see some of these drivers make that strategy call. Predicting lap 12 through 15. Whoa. Trey Mistack just got past Zach Peterson. I'm not sure what ended up happening there, but these two were battling. Jake Daly was battling there. Joshua Jablonski is now up 5 positions. Gained one through the hairpin on Jeff Koffold of Valhalla Racing. And he's through. Now the Valhalla drivers get a... I don't know, chant war stuff? I don't know. What do Valhalla people do? Vikings, yes, them. They're probably not even doing anything. They're probably not really saying much. I know these guys sit in voice calls and just kind of breathe. It's all mental. Sometimes they get a little boisterous. I know I can. Here we are. Colin Luckhurst trying to make a move here on Brandon Burns. He's got the time. That said, go back all the way to the beginning. This is Dylan Thomas. Ooh, you know, that might be Blimp of Chopper of that. That he's battling here with, I think, Jeff Koffold, and that's a difficult one. It doesn't look like he made contact, but it could have been netcode anyway. Oh no. I think he just ended up losing it. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm going to speculate further, but I think that might have been slightly the case. Who's to say? Tom Smith. Oof. And, oh, that hit Elliot Burton, and that's how these guys got by him. That was on lap 6. Edwin Gonzalez just lost it all on his own. And Elliot Burton is out. Marcello De Leo spun it in the hairpin. Unfortunate. That is basically live. He's back out there, but Now that train isn't so much a train. There's big gaps they're forming. 1 second gaps, but... Oh, Jeff! That was live. Now down 6. He's in P14. Jake Daly's a 1.3 second gap. But there is the inevitability of Trey Mistak, who's sitting in 16th. It's Chris Chitterling trying to make a move here on Marshall Scarry. This will only be for 3rd in the Pro-Ams. Max Poe leads the Pro-Ams in 2nd. Matthew Mercier in 3rd. And these two are battling. Wait, Matt Mercier's in 2nd. Yeah, these two are battling for 3rd. I don't know. Let's see safe things. And with the is he out? Saying he's out? Oh, he pit on lap 11. All right, a 29-1. We'll see if that works towards the end. Elliot Burton's plan. Drop 14 spots for this. See if it works here. Eric Koonsman also pit. So did Colin Luckhurst and Maxwell Woodmansee. Marcello has yet to pit. It's a P29 at the moment. He'll drop back as soon as he does, though. Got Craig Carroll in. Another spot for Andrew Frank there. Jake Daly has now a sizable gap to Zach Pearson. 2.5 seconds. This AM class leader would win as long as he holds on. He's got Jeff in front of him, probably trying to keep it in one piece after that spin. Ray Mistak behind him, who's definitely catching and is quite possibly going to be another spot gained. 17, maybe. That's 16 at the moment. Chris Chitterling is up 3. Seba Corns goes in, so we'll see. These two inherit a spot. They're still going to be battling. Now, what does the leader do? 2.4 second gap to P2, 4.7 to Nick Mazza. I mean, running comfortably. He's got 30 plus seconds to catch the end of the pack. I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe if there's like an incident. Now we have Trey Mistak trying to make a move through Parabolica and down into the hairpin. Jake Daly's going to let him go. That is definitely not his fight. That's 18 up for him, but he'll lose one after the pit stop. Sebacorns did go in pit from P11. Actually, I think he was higher than 11. Is it possible he goes in? Nope. Peter Flanner is going to start lap 16 and continue. Max Poe is still out. Nick Mazza is still out. And we have just a train of drivers here. All staying out with the leader. Trey Mistak, who had a personal best, He's marginally faster than Jeff, but just marginally. This may not come to him on this lap. It might be a couple of laps that he has to find the improvements. And they were almost, dare to say, self-inflicted. It was just spins. Few people spun. There goes Joshua Spears in. Joshua Jablonski stays out. He'll take that spot. And now we have a couple more out. But Peter Flanner is still out there without having pit. That's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Max Pope did pit. He was second. Nick Mazza stayed out. So did Jacob Simmons. Matthew Mercier. Where are the drivers? Seba Corns, by the way, hit on lap 14. He was in the top 15. I kind of am curious to see where this is going to line up for the rookie, who's the leading rookie, as Andrew Frank is just behind him. Mind you, he didn't pit yet. Andrew has not pit. He's back into P19. So he gained a couple there. Joshua Spears was going to be always ahead. But he's not far behind. 3.6 seconds back, which means he'll slot in somewhere. Here's Chris Chitterling finally making a move here on Marshall Scari. I think that move, I think that was the attempt. It didn't work, because he is now still going to be looking at that rear of the Mercedes. He's not been able to make a move. Been awfully close, lap after lap. Nick Mazza goes in. Jacob Simmons stays out. Peter Flanner is still out there. Ultimate overcut, maybe. He's got now lap traffic within 1 second of him. This would be possibly the time. Mark Foley goes into fourth, but he hasn't pit yet. More drivers who have yet to pit. I kind of want to see where Joshua Spears comes in. He was in the top 15. And where is Max Poe? Did a 1 minute 13. What the actual... What? Oh no. What did he do? From P2 in this race to 28. Max Poe was set to win the Pro-Am race. Oh no. He is not gaining any positions for this. There's no way. Matthew Mercier also did a 113. What? These two were both in P2 and 5. And they're at the back of the pack. Oh my. That's Eric Koonsman playing the smart game. Lap 12, he pit, and he is leading the AM class. Trey Mistak, who's out there now, still holding P14. Actually didn't losing these, up 8 positions. Joshua Jablonski goes in, Mark Foley goes in, Jacob Simmons goes in. Peter Flanner is exiting. Where's Jake Daly? He's gone in. Nick Mazza is down the start straight. We already knew there was a big gap, though. And yep, that gap is definitely there as they exit. Jacob Simmons able to go into second position from, I believe, fourth. And so now he's in second. Nick Mazza is in third. Big improvement for Joshua Jablonski, who's now up 8 positions. Mark Foley, it took 5 off pit strategy alone. All in working favor for them as Gage Hines is up 3. Joshua Spears down 1. Chris Chitterling up 7. He's ahead of Marshall Scarry as well, which is kind of the crucial point for him as he was battling that for a while. Seba Corns up 4. He's in 10th. He pit on lap 14. It looks like it worked out mostly for this driver. He was 11th, now 10th. I can't even begin to imagine what happened with Matt Mercier and Max Poe, who had identical 113s as he gains a spot there off of Andrew Frank. Unbelievable. That has got to be the worst pit stop scenario. It doesn't even make sense. Seba Corns makes a move on the penultimate section of the track, penultimate corner, I mean. And there it was. I don't think I've seen that just yet, and there it is from Seba Corns in the Audi. Now in 9th. Great result for a rookie. Now, where is our Pro-Ams? I think I'm looking at it. I think we have pros from P1, 2, 3. There's Chris Chitterling, sorry. Chris Chitterling is our Pro-Am leader, and Marshall Scarry would be just behind in P2. Now, oh, wait, no. I'm mistaken. Joshua Spears is leading the Pro-Ams. My bad. Almost didn't see him. That is. So we have P1 through 6 are pros. Marshall Scarry trying to make a move here on Seba Corns as John Javecki joins this group. Trey Misak also just behind. He's got Jeff Koffel just ahead of him. We have 3 battling here for 9, 10, and 11, and 12 and 13 are battling it out as well. Who's it going to go to first? Which of these drivers is going to get ahead? Is it going to be John Javecki? Oh, there looks like Seba Corns got a little bit of a breather from Marshall Scarry. Is John Javecki going to take it too wide? He is. He keeps it, but I think he's going to have to slot back in. Move not done there. And now this is a group that is formed, which could work in Trey Mistak's favor. He's at the tail end of it. If these drivers battle, it makes it easier for him to overtake all 3 of them, is what his thoughts are. Lap 21 of 28. He can definitely do it. But can he overtake 2 pros and a Pro-Am at the leading them? It's one thing to overtake in your own class. These guys aren't going to give you any space there. Eric Koonsman and Zach Peterson battling for the AM class win here. And Zach Peterson a little too much in that apex. Eric Koonsman holding it firm ahead now. He's keeping it ahead. This could go down to the wire if it stays like this. A little bit of an actually, that didn't really slow Zach Peterson down that much, but maybe just enough. So we have a battle for the Pro-Am right in front of us. Joshua Spears, Chris Chitterling. A battle for the AM class. And would I say this is a battle? It's 2.4 seconds is a big gap with the amount of remaining. Like, he's there. Shakeup Simmons is there, but Peter Flanner doing 137s. It's quite a difference there. Not sure if Chris Chitterling knows that he's battling for the lead of the Pro-Ams at the moment. But I hope he knows, so he can really try to squeeze everything out of the Porsche and get ahead of Joshua Spears. But they're identical on lap times. This is going to be a difficult one. Talk about a different scenario here. Trey Mistack, still no change. This is going to be quite a different experience for him. The moment he has, I don't even think he's made an attempt yet to try to get alongside Jeff. He's been half a second back, reeling into 3/10, but not trying to be overly aggressive. He did a 28.9 for the pit stop, so maybe he's trying to fuel save. Acceptable position gain for him, P13, after gaining 19. This is another confusing one. Jake Daly is battling for the AM class win, did a 1:10. Oh no. Oh, yikes. It's Tom Smith. That looks like a little bit of structural damage. Elliot Burton making an overtake on Seth Hansen, who just went a little wonky through that corner. Now reclaims P16 with Zach Peterson and Eric Kunzman still battling. With 5 laps to go, Eric Kunzman can win this race. It is still in his chances. Chris Chitterling, another who quite possibly could take this to the end of the race. He's just got to get by, and he goes for the move into the hairpin. Is this it? He's got to hold on, and he's through. They hit. They made contact. And Joshua Spears isn't letting it go. He's still going through. And down to the next section we go. And I don't know. I think they're fully alongside. And yep, Joshua Spears is going to hold on to P7. Crucially, the Pro-Am win. And they're still going at it. Still side by side. And through goes Joshua Spears, and basically no way to overtake right here. And he's going to slot back in, and that is one attempt that we've seen. Oh, is he going to slide down into the inside? He does! Chris Chitterling makes a move. very few have. Sever Cords is the only other driver that I saw do it. And through goes Chris Schitterling for the Pro-Am win. What a sensational move there. That is just simply lovely. You like to see a battle happen towards the end. Eric Koonsman still leading the AM class at the moment. He's still got Zach Peterson in his rear view. Trey Mistak still has not been able to make a move here on the Valhalla Racing driver, Jeff Koffold, who's sitting right in this train. John Javecki hasn't made a move on Marshall Scari. Everyone here is just kind of slotted in at the moment. Nothing has changed much. Zach Peterson looking to have a go here at Eric Koonsman, and they're yikes. Parked it on the apex. I mean, that's rough. Take a look at that again. Not sure. No, Eric Koonsman was going super defensive into the hairpin. I mean, super defensive, but then Elliot Burton goes alongside, and they made contact, I believe, when they were going straight into that hairpin. So, unfortunate. But Elliot Burton has just gifted Eric Koonsman a little bit of a buffer here to Zach Peterson. And he's just gone off, and they're going to go side by side in an area where I was like, you can't make the move happen. Look at it. Elliot Burton making the move happen. And through he goes on Eric Koonsman for P14. Oh. While I was looking away, Eric Koonsman got right back on by Elliot Burton. It's a slowdown penalty? I wasn't really paying attention. I was looking at the data. Colin Luckhurst getting awfully close to Forrest Holland. Maybe this will play out. But Elliot Burton now back on the offensive. Can he make this pass here into the hairpin? I know Eric Koonsman might go... Nope. Eric Koonsman doesn't go defensive. And he is through. Crucially, Zach Peterson has now rejoined Eric Koonsman with 3 laps to go. He is within fighting distance. I'm out of town and couldn't make it tonight. All good, Aiden. Oddly, it's been a very clean race. That's all I'll say is there were a few self-induced spins. One could possibly say that one at the start with Dylan was maybe netcode, which caused, but maybe he just did drop the rear. But ultimately, no one's really made any mistakes. It's been a very clean race and very grouped up race as well. As most drivers have been kind of sitting in these little mini trains here. Zach Peterson now has a black flag, so all the hopes and dreams of winning this race kind of plummet. So Eric Koonsman doesn't even need to finish ahead of him, and will still get that. Dylan Thomas making a move here on Seth Hansen, 2 laps to go, and he is going to have to go side by side through the next section. Great thing for Eric Koonsman is he's second in the championship, and a win for him is going to mean a lot going to the end of this series. With only one more round left in season 15, we will get to see the ultimate battle for the title in each class, as it is that close, and they are still side by side. And Seth Hansen is putting on a great defense. And Dylan Thomas still trying to make it happen. I think this is where he gets it, and that's where he got it. There's the move. Jeff into the barrier here. Oh, no! That you speak about. Oh gosh, Trey Mistak gifting the position back. It's P12 and 13. That's unfortunate. I mean, but good sportsmanship for just giving the position back after you know what inevitably happened there. Uh, Zach Peterson having to serve that black flag. So no. Let's see. Joshua Spears has a 2.5 second gap now. So we're kind of where it's at. We know the end of this. It's going to be Peter Flanner, Chris Schitterling, the Pro-Am, Eric Koonsman, Am, and Seba Warnes. Rookie. Congratulations to Peter Flanner for the P1. Jacob Simmons P2, Nick Mazza P3, Joshua Jablonski P4, Mark Foley P5, Gage Hines P6, Chris Schirling P7, Joshua Spears P8, Seba Corns P9, Marshall Scari P10, John Javecki P11. Jeff Koffold is going to finish in 12th, just in front of Trey Mistak. And Elliot Burton now with a couple corners to go. We'll see. Drivers who've already crossed the line, and Elliot Burton in 14, Eric Koonsman 15, Dylan Thomas 16, Seth Hansen 17, Colin Luckhurst 18, Forrest Holland 20, 19, as Zach Peterson is now 20th. Brandon Burns in 21, Matthew Mercier 22, Maxwell Woodmansey in 23, Jake Daly 24, Andrew Fink 25. Not there just yet. Richard Sweaterski's also not there just yet. Jake Daly's actually still got 4 out there. Jake Daly 24, Andrew Frank 25, Richard Sweaterski 26, Tom Smith is going to finish 27, Marcello De Leo in 28, C. McAllister 29, Max Poe 30, Edwin Gonzalez 31, and Craig Carroll 32. I guess Craig quit early. That is the lineup. And ooh, even blew the engine right there at the end. Congratulations, Eric Koonsman. What a hard fought victory. You're battling Zach Peterson right there at the end. How was that working, going through your mind? You also had a couple other drivers that were in the mix there. Yeah, so how was that?
Yeah, I was sweating. He was putting a lot of pressure on me, and it was everything I could to keep him behind me. And then once Elliot got behind me, he kind of blocked him off a little bit and gave me some room. So good teamwork there. Just stayed patient the whole time and lucked out, I guess, on the pit stop.
Absolutely. I mean, your pit stop was immensely rewarding for you. You did get further ahead. But ultimately, yeah, Elliot Burton gave you that gap. It formed the buffer, and then you ended up winning the aim class. But you definitely had that battle going on for that second half for a long time. Zach Peterson got himself a trip to the pit lane before black flag, so I think he just ran out of instant points there. So kind of a little bit more in your favor towards the end. I don't know if you knew that, but I mean, again, congratulations on that AM class victory, putting you're second in the championship with one more race to go. Are you going to be here for the last one to try to contend with Brandon Burns?
Yep, I'll be there for Indy, and this should get us within 100 150 points. So it's gonna be a battle that whole race. So
Absolutely,
be good. Be
absolutely.
one for you to watch.
I can't wait. Brandon Burns finished 21st, just so you're aware, but I know a lot of the AM class were in the mix there. So congrats, Eric. Thank you for joining me, man, and I can't wait to see what happens on that last race.
Thanks, Jason.
Peter Flanner, what a show. What a I guess a clinic. 137 is almost the entire race. I mean, even when you exit the pits, it was no sweat that you're going to stay ahead. You had a 1.5 second gap to Jacob Simmons. I mean, you had two drivers who were in the mix as well. Max Poe was second. He did a 1:13 pit stop. And so did Matthew Mercier. He was in fifth. So I'm not sure what happened with those pro-ams, but did that register for you when you're on the track?
Yeah, I clocked it, and people mentioned in the voice chat as well. It's very easy to get a pit entry penalty, so it might have been that.
Oh, okay. It could have been. Yeah, it definitely doesn't register the pit those penalties on my side. So that could have been it. I'm not sure if I saw that, but throughout the race, you managed it fairly well. You even put in the laps necessary where you didn't even follow that much traffic, like blue flag traffic. Was that a concern for you? Because it looked like you were only about to catch one driver, and I'm not sure if you caught any other drivers, but I think you managed that pretty well. Was that kind of the intent?
I did not have any intent into when I took my pit stop other than go as long as possible, so I got lucky with traffic. Thank you, Richard Swiderski, for getting out of my way. But yeah, I got lucky with traffic and didn't have anybody hold me up. I also got lucky that I didn't get taken out by a spinning Porsche in the last turn towards the end of the race.
Oh, wow. Who would do you know which one that would have been? I think it was Craig, Steve.
It might have been Steve.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Craig finished. He pit. He didn't say the full race, full length. So again, probably was Steven. But well, there you go. You got a little luck, but I mean, ultimately, you extended your lead as the AM class victor. But you still, it could still go down to that last race. You have Joshua Jablonski who finished fourth. Jacob Simmons finished second. Mark Foley was fifth. I mean, all of you guys are so close in points. It still extends your lead, but are you still going to be worried about that last race at Indy?
Yeah, of course. We're all really close, so I'm sure it doesn't. This doesn't lock it up for me, so it's going to come down to the last race.
That's exciting stuff. I can't wait to see what happens. Congratulations again, Peter. Thank you for joining me, and hope you know that was well deserved victory there for how quick you were going that entire race.
Thank you, Jason.
Take care. And thank you, everybody, for joining me. That was it for this race. We have round 12, the final round, and we have, I don't know if you know, battles for each class through the entirety of the end. We've never had that. It's always kind of solidified before the actual final round. That said, I can't wait. Next Sunday, it's going to be great. What do we got going on this week? We have Brooklyn Le Mans Series on Tuesday, our last ARCA Oval race at Charlotte on Wednesday. Thursday is the V-Rays. Friday is the F4 race. And then we're back to Sunday. Thank you all for joining me, and have a good evening.